Hi everyone, so today we do a stock analysis on Whitehaven Coal, ticker WHC.AX, and it's a metallurgy coal and thermal coal producer.
Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, this is my own research, up to you to make your own decision.
So as usual, we're going to start with a little description of the company, the fundamental analysis, the technical analysis, and then the coal price catalyst, and we'll finish with a conclusion. So let's start by giving a little description of the company. So Whitehaven Coal Limited is developing and operating coal mines, so that are metallurgical and thermal coal, and then they do open cut and then underground. So open cut means on the surface, and it's been founded in 1999 in Australia, and it's mainly present the mines in New South Wales and Queensland. So it's pretty much the east of Australia. So here is a better description of their mine I found on their presentation website. So they have slides and that shows all that. Found that one pretty good because it explained where all the mines are. So they are in Australia and mainly in the east side of Australia. So as you can see in the map, you can see all the mines. So they are in total 5 operating mines that are here that you can find, and then there are 2 developing projects. And those mines then are when you export the coal, then there will be a train truck to then deliver it to the port. So those are the ports here, and then those will be exporting by boat to Asia. So here are the breakdown of all the mines, whether they are thermal or metallurgical. So in this case, we can see that in H1 2025, it's around 36% thermal and 64% metallurgical. So what happened is the company put out massive mines that were actually owned by BHP, and that's the reason why 2024 and 2025 are very different. So now the company will be pretty much doubling their revenues because of that. So they took on a massive merging and acquisition project, and they should be actually increasing a lot their revenue because of that. But because of that as well, they will be selling more metallurgical than thermal, which put them into some sort of different risk that they didn't have before. And on top of that, so their clients, they're mainly in Asia, and nearly 50% is actually, from memory, Japan, which is here, and then the rest is pretty well distributed around even Europe 6%, Taiwan, Malaysia, Korea, China, India, but it's pretty much only Asia. And you can see here what they are, which clients are more metallurgical and more thermal. So this seems to be a trend for all commodities, but this is the slide as well on Whitehaven that is showing that the demand is actually keep increasing, but the supply is keep decreasing over the years, where at the moment, right? So if they don't find any project, or if they don't produce find any more mines to produce, that's what could potentially happen. So of course it's a projection, so we're not sure entirely, but it shows that there is a deficit coming in the next few years, which is why it could be interesting to invest in those companies, because the deficit shows that if there is not enough supply, the price will definitely rise. Well, that's what supply and demand indicates. We never know for sure, but it's most likely going to be that way. So something that I found quite interesting in this slide is the fact that there was the cost to produce 1 ton of coal. So the unit cost is 137 per ton, and the pricing, so whatever revenue they're able to get, so they can get 247 at the moment in Queensland and 211 in New South Wales. It's interesting that there is quite a difference between the two, but on average I would say that it's around 30 to 40%. So I find it pretty good at these specific prices, and hopefully they can continue to sell at those prices. So I found something very interesting on a tweet that I found on X, and it was talking about the total assets versus the market cap. So in here, the total assets, as you can see in here, were pretty low. Then it started rising in the 2012-13 to 2022-3-4, and then more recently, like, it's been like big jump again with the recent acquisition that I talked about previously. And the pricing, even though they're not really like always followed, at the end they seems to be following, not in this period because it was lower than the assets, and in this period, and we seems to be near maybe a low. It could definitely drop lower to something like here, who knows. But at the same time, there's a big disconnection between the assets and the market cap. So I find that really interesting, and hopefully at some point it will catch up. So this is the whole idea behind that potential purchase of this stock, if it was to occur, but I think this will be a good reason. So now let's look at the fundamentals. So overall, that's the kind of company I like because it's kind of undervalued. Market cap of like less than 5 billion, and the P is now around like 4 forward P trading. That's a bit high though, but anyway, I know it's quite low overall. And then especially the price to sale, price to book, like enterprise value to revenue and EBITDA, all that is quite low, which I like. So just wanted to show that at least Insider have been buying maybe less in this year than last year in here, but overall they still been like adding. So last year there were like some good numbers like 200,000, 100,000 and like 80,000, but more recently it's been a bit lower, like 60,000 and like 30, but it's still always good to see Insider buying. So now we're going to look at the balance sheet overview. So as you can see, over the past few years, the total equity has been going up. Then the cash has had a pretty good incremental, like in orange there. But then in 2024, it started like declining. This is because they purchased and acquired new mines. And then the debt increased. That is the same reason. So they acquired a massive like mine that were pretty much doubling the size of their market cap, and at the same time that kind of reduced their cash. Nothing to worry about if you know the story. In this case, I would be worried if I didn't know, but because I know and it's a good project, I think it's great overall. It will take a few years to actually get reward from it, so that's something to consider, but it's a good start. So in here you can see the balance sheet overview of mainly like the assets, liabilities and equity. So in our case, you can clearly see that the assets are going pretty much slowly exponential, which is very good. I don't know if they can continue that way for too long, but it is looking like growth stock at the moment. The liabilities have been pretty reasonable, but have been like going much higher, and that's because the acquisition again of the new mines. And the equity has been pretty stable but rising as well, which I quite like. So I know that they've been doing something to reduce that liabilities because they want to lower their risk. So they sold 30% of that new acquisition that they had for something like $1 billion of cash, something like that. So I know they will be reducing their debt and probably be net debt free soon, but it might take like something like 6 months. But yeah, they've done already all the work in that way, which I like. But yeah, you have to follow to know, because I've been following this company for a while, so I quite know that it should be all good. In the next few years, I think it's looking great. So in this case, they've been starting doing buybacks. So as you can see, in the last few years, the share issued have been reduced from over 1 billion to now 800 million something, 840. They just announced that they will be buying back 42 million share, and that's about 5% of the company in the next 6 months. So what I like is the time they announce. That's when the price of coal has been going down quite a lot, and the company price has been reduced quite a bit from the top, like 50% from the top, because it's around $5 or $6 now, and it used to be up to 10. I really like the fact that they've been waiting to buy back. They haven't really just put and continue buying at the top. I think the timing is right, and that's all what I like, because the book value is less than 1 right now, and then they started buying back. Very good news, and I really like to see companies that are actually doing a great job like this. Yeah, nothing much to add, but good news actually. So looking at the current liabilities and current asset, it might explain why actually they started selling 30% of their new mines, because like in 2024 they were kind of, the current liabilities were higher than assets, which is always a risk in terms of like liquidity issues. So I'm guessing that's why they short term decided to sell 30% of their new mine, so that they can recover this part. So now let's look at technical analysis. So in this chart, to be honest, long term there's not much to see but zigzags. It's been going up and down and up and down and up and down. It seems to be related to cyclicality, and I think it's logical. At the moment we're definitely in a downtrend, and then it seems to slowly find a bottom, but honestly all I see is just a strong strength, and then like lower downward, but at the same time we still continue to slowly go down on the downside at the moment. So previously I was showing you the monthly chart, and now I'm showing you the daily chart. So in the daily chart there's been just going strong strength, like very very strong, and then now going sideways. So like we have like this pattern kind of like that, right? So some sort of consolidation, but we're still on the downtrend. There's nothing shows that it might reverse, even short term, to be honest. It's just down and down. So we may see a reversal, because the trends on the downside seems to be way lower than the upside, and considering all the facts that have been adding recently, buying back share and all these, there seems to be like hard for the stock to just crash down, unless the coal price continue to go down and like go like to $60 or something, then that would definitely go a bit lower. But even then, like the company is way more strong than it used to be at the time, like in 2021 for example. So personally I would say that it looks like early sign of reversal, but no confirmation. And when I say no confirmation, that means that there is no proof that we might be even on the right side. So at the moment we are on the wrong side, which is downward, and there's no proof, 0. It's just my guess that it's getting like smaller and smaller, so we're not really crashing strong, and that the fact that there is good news coming slowly in the from the company. So that's all I can say. So here is the coal price over the last 10 to 15 years. As you can see, it's pretty correlated with the stock. I mean, you can see the up and down and up and down at pretty much the same times, and then recently up, and then now kind of downturn again. So in last downturn is this one, and the stock has been following pretty much the same thing. As you can see, there is a in smaller earning per share. So it's been going up from 2021 to 2023 and then down since, which is exactly following the coal price. So we expect a little bit more downside in the next few months because of the coal price recently recorded. So this is definitely not a good sign in that sense, which could show a little bit more downside for the stocks. But then my wonder is that, like, you know, at the moment in 2021 and 2020, like, you know, the price of coal were very cheap, which never really stayed that long. And because of inflation and everything, I actually start to believe that we're not that far from the new bottom. So it could quickly even go up to here, who knows, like short term. But I really believe that the values start to be around like 100, which where we are now, to like 80, 70. Like all of these to me seems quite value. Nothing is proven, you know, but we're more on the down side, so I would say on the cheap side, than we are on the pricey time at the moment, I would say. So we want to see that getting more like tired and stop really dropping. At the moment it's still a bit strong in my opinion, and see some sort of reversal, something like this, and up like that. So it would take some time, might even be 2026, so maybe not that year. Let's see how it goes. But that's what I'm seeing, that's the biggest risk. So as a conclusion, what I really wanted to say is, as a company itself, what they're doing, buybacks, insider purchasing, they have great fundamental, and I would say the management seems to be pretty good as well overall. I've seen some like risk here and there, but overall they've been really doing well in my opinion. I would say the main risk is not really on the company but on the coal price. So if the coal price continue to drop like it does, and then that bottom that I thought was near may not be, and it continue to drop, that's potential problem. And the second is the stock price, but it's related to coal price anyway, and it seems to be at least not dropping like a rock and just dropping very, very slowly, which is kind of encouraging. And the last bit is, yeah, they're growing their asset pretty fast, but it's been a little bit risky. I've seen at some time to pay back and like kind of find a new like part owner at 30%. I thought all that was a little bit risky, but they ended up doing pretty well and managing that quite well, so nothing really to say about that. So overall, pretty good company. That's what I believe, and I own some shares, so as a disclaimer. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and see you in the next video.